Good afternoon. Welcome to IT Grade 11. It is Tuesday, the 12th of May, and today we are discussing arrays. It is going to be a short section so that you can understand it clearly. Okay. I will activate the chat function. If you have a question, you may ask questions. Okay, let's just backtrack again. So an array is a list of things. So for example, the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. These are fixed elements. They do not change. You can have also uncategorized numbers. Say, for example, you say position 1 would be the number 49, position 2 could be 13. So you can specify what your array is going to look like. Also, a case statement is very similar to that of an array. I just want to get this download going so that I can give you the data. So the case statement, a nested if, and array all basically do the same, but it's about working more efficiently and smarter and not harder. Okay. Okay, let me just minimize this here. Okay. Okay, so it is possible to do mathematical operations inside an array. So what we're going to do here is I've got an array defined here in a code, but now this is something that's going to come through in your final exam in matric. You need to understand algorithms. So the typical algorithms that you can be asked: flowcharts, pseudocode, trace tables, and the last one that probably could be asked is UML case statements. Now you will see in your PAT activities, I have given you videos on how to do a UML case statement or case diagram. So it is very important that you understand how to do an algorithm. Okay, so this array here says, let's find the maximum value and the position of the maximum value in an array. So first of all, I want the maximum value and I want the position of that maximum value. So if the array is an undefined where the numbers could go, for example, 49, 12, 64, so it's not in order, then you will be able to still find out the maximum value. So what I'll have, now these numbers over here are going to represent the lines in the trace table. So I'm going to quickly jump to the next slide so that you can see the trace table, and then we are going to work through the trace table. So before the time, I'm going to declare, it says, assume that array marks contains the following values: 45, 90, 12, 40, and 72. Okay, so I declare it in my trace table. The hash stands for the lines. This is my first variable, I. Then another variable, I max, I position. Here I'm doing a calculation or a criteria. I'm saying if I is less than or equal to 5, and then here in the next criteria, I'm saying if R marks position I index is greater than I max, and then what will my output be? Okay. So I'm saying whatever was in position 1 of my R marks, I want to be written to I max. Okay. And then I position, I am going to declare and assign it to the number or the value 1. Okay, here begins my for loop. So let's just go and see on the next slide. So position, there is my position 1, my I position, and the R marks I'm still going to be working out. Oh, sorry, wrong way. They have given me, here is my array, 45, 90, 12, 40, and 72. Okay, so let's go back here. For I, 2 to 5, do the following. Okay, begin. So go and check if whatever's in the index for R marks, is it greater than I max? Then you're going to do the following. You're going to take whatever's written in position I and write it to I max. Okay, do you see there? You're going to write it there. And again, you've assigned I position to I1. If that should be an I or a 1, we'll have to check that. And this is going to keep looping until R marks is not greater than I max. Okay, so then what you will do is you will display it using a memo, and you are quite acquainted with that already. So let's read here. So step 1, I define I max as 45. I've said that I position, the value is 1. Step 3, the question was, for I 2 to 5 do, I'm going to go and check my values. Okay, is I less than or equal to 5? Okay, so there's my value 2, and the answer is true. Then I'm going to go to step 5. So let's just quickly see what was step 4. Step 4 was a begin. So quite normally in your flowchart, we wouldn't actually give the begin and end a line. Okay, but if you wanted to, you could do it that way. So line 5 was, is R marks position 1 greater than I max? True. Then I'm going to go to position line 7. Line 7 was here, assign whatever was in R marks I and assign it to I max. Okay, so I've got 7, and there we've got R marks 2, and I'm going to assign 90. Step 8, oh, wrong one. Whatever's in position in I, we declared I earlier, write it to I position. Okay, so here we are now, this was step 8, so I position is 2, there's my position 2. Then I'm writing my I is now 3. So do you see it increases each time? It's like a counter, it increases by 1. So 3. Is 3, or I in this case, less than or equal to 5? Yes, it's true. Then is R marks greater than I max? False. Okay, so then I go back to step 3. Step 3 was my for loop. So I'm going to go back in, and I'm now going to increment it to 4. So position I is now number 4. Is I less than or equal to 5? True. Okay, then I'm going to go and check here. Is R marks 1 greater than I max? False. Go back to step 3. Now I'm going to make it, remember my for loop was 2 to 5. So each time you're going to do work through 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then you need to loop one more time so that you will be able to see if 6, so that you go out of your loop to check is it still valid, and if it's not, then you're going to end your loop. Okay, so now we're going to go into 5. Is 5 greater or equal to 5? Yes, it is. Or less than and equal to. It is equal to 5. So we have a true there. Then R marks. Is it greater than I max? False. So then, as every time that you get a false, you go back to step 3. So now we are going to check our outer limit. So we're going to increase our I to 6. Is 6 less than or equal to 5? No, it's not. So we have a false. Then we're going to jump to step 11. Okay. And you are going to display it. Okay. I want you, so the display, that is my output. The highest mark is 90 at position 2. Okay, so do you see there's my array? So it was 45, 90, 12, 40, and 72. And my highest position was 90. The highest value was 90 in position 2. Okay, so it's really important. I want you to go and practice your trace tables. For every single activity, it's something that is taught in grade 10, but you are asked throughout, and especially it will appear in your either your prelims or your final exams in grade 12s. Okay. Okay. So the next activity that you are going to do, let me just copy this over for us. I'm just getting our data ready. Okay, so now it is asking us, open the Maths Calculator project in the Math Calculate folder. So I'm going to open Explorer. And I'm going to access my files here quickly. I just want to open Delphi first. So all this data I'm actually going to upload. I'm going to put it onto Google Drive and then share the folder with you so that you are able to go through the practical text DBE textbook and work through the activities. Okay, I'm going to open the project. You just need to find it quickly. And we are looking for Math Calc. Okay, so this is your program. Basically what says mathematical calculations. I've got a display, an average, a product, that means I'm multiplying things together, a range, and a percentage. If I go into my code, then I will need to, if you see here, up at the top under var, they have declared an array R marks for us, 1 to 10, and they have specified the numbers or the values that are going to go into each position. So position 1 is 59, position 2 is 38. Okay, so the activity, sorry, I'm just trying to get the activity open here. Okay. So let's see. Go back to our PowerPoint. Okay. So the marks are stored. We are looking at activity 3.2. And great, now the calculation is in a different place. Let me just get the solutions here. Okay, so I'm going to read through it. It says, open the Maths Calc project in 3 Math Calc folder and write the code for the following buttons. Display the button, so button display. I want you to display all the elements from the array, okay? Then average, when I click on average, button to find and display the sum and average. So I'm going to do 2 calculations here. So the average, and each time it's going to write a new line there. Okay. The product button to find and display the product of the elements. So if I multiply it all together. The range button to find and display the highest and lowest mark and the position of the highest. And so first tell me what was the highest, what was the lowest, and then what was the and the position of the highest and lowest mark in the array and the range of the marks. The range is the difference between highest and lowest. So I will say the top value minus the lowest level. The last one is percentage button to convert each mark to a percentage. The marks are out of 60 marks. Okay. Let's see if I can open it up here. If it's going to allow me to. There we go. Okay, so I'm actually going to code this in Delphi for you. Here we go. So the first one, let's quickly see our design was button display. So let's go and find button display. Here is my button display. And I'm going to find button display here. So the first thing I want to do is clear my red output. Okay, the reason being, otherwise I might have other information ahead of it, and I want to actually just clear it and start with a clean, rich edit. Okay, then I'm going to start my for loop for I assign. Oh, I see now I have the wizard is on. I must just watch out while I'm typing. 1 to 10 do. So there's my for loop. Okay. Let's just see what is my output called here. Oh, I've called it red output. It's just red out. Okay, so just keep an eye on, we're so used to using red output. And remember, for a for loop, I want a begin and an end. It will enter that, and what it must display, red out dot lines dot add. And I'm going to have into string because I'm converting the inside, and I'm going to have R marks and then the index I. Okay, let's just make sure I close my brackets. Okay, so very simply, go and display whatever was in my index and write it in my rich edit. Okay, so if I run it now, what it's going to do is I click on my display, and there, not in any particular order, okay, so we're not even dealing with ordering or sorting at this stage. I simply just want to display my 10 numbers. Okay, so let's take a look at our next design, our next button average. Okay, so we are going to go and find our button average. So what is necessary here? I need to declare two variables. And the first one is isum, and it is an integer. And the second one is r average, which is going to be real. Okay. Sorry, not a sign, just colon. There we go. And then I will begin my code. You're going to start off and you're going to assign isum the value of 0. So you initialize isum. Let's quickly see here. Okay. Then I'm going to start my for loop, and my for loop is going to be for I and value 1, 2, and I know that there are 10, so I'm going to say 1 to 10 do. I'll have to remove the wizard on this one. And begin, have a begin end. And what I want to do here is I want to isum and r marks, but I want to increment them. Okay, so I use inc, isum, and r marks. So whatever is in the index of my array, I'm going to have there. Okay. Then outside this for loop, so very important, make sure that you're not going to code everything inside your for loop. You're going so the average I'm going to work out outside my for loop. So to get my for loop, my average, I'm going to say isum. I've worked out isum over here, okay, divided by, and I know that there are 10 elements. Okay. Then, very importantly, remember I have to display, so read out dot lines dot add, and I'm going to have here sum plus, and I'm going to whatever int to string of isum. Okay, then I also want to display there, if I go back to my PowerPoint, okay, it said there for the average, find and display the sum and average of the marks. So I've now displayed my sum, but I want to display my average. Okay, so read out dot lines dot add, and I'm going to have average. Remember to leave a space for yourself, and remember here float to string because I'm dealing with real, and it is going to be an average. There we go. Okay, so let's try. I'm going to run it and let's see what is my error. And I forgot my colon. Okay, so my display is still working, and I check my average. There, my average, the first, it's going to display the sum, and secondly, it's going to display the average of all these numbers. So if I added all my numbers together and divided by 10, I would get 33. Okay, let's see if we can still quickly fit in another button here. I'm going to go to the product button. Okay, so for the product button, I again need to declare a variable. So var iProd, and it is, here is a new one for you. I'm going to use a long integer. Okay, so that could have additional decimals attached to it. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to start and I'm going to define my iProd, initialize it to 1. Okay, then I'm going to start my for loop for I, assign 1 to, and I know it is 10. do, okay, write my begin end, and inside my for loop, I'm going to say iprod assign. Now remember, I've already assigned it there. Now I'm going to use iprod plus, not plus, times r marks index I. Okay, so whatever's in my array, multiply it by iprod and reassign it to iprod. Then outside my array, not my array, my for loop, I'm going to do my display. Make sure your output is outside your for loop. Otherwise, what it's going to do is every time it does a calculation, it's going to display inside that calculation. Lines, add, and I will have product plus and into string iprod. There we go. I'm going to quickly do the range calc for you. Let's just check what is the next one. So that's the range. The range is a bit more. So here you needed to go and find your outer limits. Okay. So your highest and your lowest, and then minus your highest from your low, or minus the lowest from the highest. So let's quickly take a look at our variables. Bar, there's quite a few here. So I need an I low, I need an I high. Okay. And I need the low position, so position of the low, a high position, and I want a range. And all of these are going to be integers. Remember, in arrays, you have to use, you can only use the same type. Okay, so we've declared our variables. Now what we're going to look at is we're going to declare what is I low. And in I low, I want whatever's written in our marks, I want to be assigned into I low. Then I want to declare I low pos, and the position of I low pos must be 1. So the first position, my lowest mark must be assigned to the low position. Then I'm now going to do the I high, and whatever's are marks, okay, sorry, instead of I, it's going to be a 1 here, or marks, assign 1, okay, and the same as the I low, I'm going to find the position of I high, and I'm going to assign it to also position 1 here. Okay, we will explain that in a bit more detail. Here I start my for loop. For I, assign, and I'm going to, instead of 1, because I've already declared it to position 1, I wanted position 2 up to, what is my outer limit? It's 10. Okay, and then begin. And then I'm going to have an if statement inside my for loop. Do you see how it's starting to build? R marks, position I, must be greater than I high. Then, again, another begin. And inside this begin end, I'm going to have my I high, assign R marks, and whatever's in position I must be written to I high, and I high pos, whatever is in variable I must be written to I high pos. Okay, then I'm going to go out of this loop here, and let's just make sure I'm going out the correct end. So I'm still inside my for loop. Now I'm going to start my next if statement. If R marks position I is less than I low. So here I've first declared my highest limit, and now I'm declaring my lowest limit. Then begin. And here I'm now going to declare I low, assign R marks. So the position of I, oh, only got 10 minutes left. I'm going to go a little longer than usual. And I low pos, assign position I, and I've got my end. Then before we get to the end there, I now need to go and write my rich edits. So read output or read out.lines.add. And the first thing I'm going to declare here is my highest mark plus my into string, and inside there I'm going to have I high. Then read output out. Oh, so used to doing the read output. It's very important to check these. I'm going to write the position of my highest mark, position of highest mark, plus, and I'm going to use int to string, and I've got I high pos. Okay, read out. Let's see if I can do this before the time runs out. Read out dot lines dot add, and this time I've got lowest mark plus int to string I low, and the last line I'm going to define is my position of my lowest mark, position lowest mark. Oops, got a spelling mistake there. Okay, and I'm going to have int to string I low pos and semicolon. Then what I still need, one last bit, is my range. Okay, I range, I've declared it up at the top, and to work out the I range I'm going to say I high minus I low, and then I will display it as read out dot lines dot add, and it is going to be range plus my int to string and it is going to be I range. Okay, let's hope that all has worked out. I'm going to run my program quickly before our time runs out. We've got about 6 minutes on the extended time. Okay, so the display is going to just simply, in the order that it was specified, display your array. The average is going to take all those numbers, add them together, and divide by the amount of numbers there are. Average, so it gave me the sum and the average. If I add 59 plus 38 plus 30, I'll get to sum. The product, that's that big number, not even going to try and read it, okay? So you will add all those, you will multiply all those numbers together. The range, now this is that big one. The last one we still have to quickly code. I don't know if that I'm going to leave with you to see if you can finish, or I'll try and finish it. Highest mark is 59. My highest position of highest mark was 1. As you can see, it was the highest mark there. The lowest mark is 14. And the position of it 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 14. And the range, if I said 59 minus 14, is going to give me 45. Let's quickly see if we can finish one last little one, percentage. Okay, let's find percentage here. Okay, so the percentage is going to be, I'm going to have to declare just one variable here, and that is R perk. Wait, let's quickly start. Bar, no, not car, bar, R perk, and it is going to be a real. And to calculate this one, I'm going to say read out dot text. Okay, this is a new way of doing it, so pay attention. I've got the string marks plus, now what is #9? That is a tab, okay, plus percentage. I hope we are managing to get this in time. Okay, then I'm going to write here my for I, and it's going to be 1 to 10, do, begin, and in my begin I'm going to have R perk, and I'm going to assign the following to it. So R marks, whatever position is in R marks, divided by 6 times by 10, and my read output, read out dot lines dot add, is going to be int to string R marks, my position, my index, plus #9 plus float to string R perk. FF fixed, we are using a fixed format here, and I want 3 and 0 decimals at the end, and semicolon. R, whoops, make sure that you spell correctly. R marks, and I've got my end. Let's see if it works. I have an error there. I have, let's see, incompatible types. Float to string, let's see, into string. I've got my R marks, square bracket, I've forgotten. Let's try it now. That, what are you giving me issues on? Okay, who can help me out here? Let's see. So I've got lines.add into string R marks, position 1, close my bracket, plus #9 plus, oh, because it was a floating format. Don't forget your float to string F. And let's run it. And we display each one, and last but not least, we are going to do our percentage, and there we go. So it cleared it, and here are all our marks and the percentages. Remember, we said it was out of 60. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have learned something today, and we will be doing more activities like this. And I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you very much, Resejo. That was a very close one. So great. Have a great day, and I will see you guys soon. Okay, bye-bye.